To point out the obvious, Empty Hands has been out for like 2 weeks already. My excuse being, just look at the length of this video, alright? But I still kind of thought it would be fun to have a little look-see at how absolutely correct I was, and I had already finished all the collages and voiceovers pre-album release anyways. I just had to add some effects and music and stuff, so have fun watching. I have been aware of Poppy for a very long time now. However, I only really became a fan about 6 years ago. Since then, she's become my favorite and most streamed artist. However, while I really love her music, I've never really been into fan or stan culture in general. I never made an edit, commented on her post, wrote out a theory, or claimed a song, whatever that's supposed to mean. In fact, it took me 3 or 4 years to buy any piece of her merch, and 5.5 to buy a fucking shirt. Despite me not really liking fan culture, I do feel like I'm very well versed in the poppiness of it all, if you will. If you want my credentials, then here you go. So I thought it would be fun to engage with fan culture for once, or twice, technically, and predict what the songs on her upcoming album would be like in the form of collages. Public Domain, the very first track. Now, honestly, I really struggled with this theme-wise, because I just wasn't all too sure what it was about, so honestly, this is probably the worst collage that I made for this, so just fucking bear with me, alright? It gets better from here, I promise. But, I started off with laying down a bunch of blue, smoky, glittery, and dark elements onto the page, just to give kind of, like, a menacing feel, and also make it look like a stage a little bit.
I feel like it's either it's gonna be something about the public, or it's gonna be about maybe, like, themes of Poppy and her fame. And I was personally more intrigued. Ooh, that fits nicely over there. Do I want that there? Oh, it fits way nicer than this one, but it doesn't make sense. No, I'm putting this one because it's the polish. It's kind of polished, like a pretty little flower. That fits fucking perfectly. Oh my god. So I'm thinking it could be about that. About like the public and shit like that, or it could be about Poppy and her fame and the public, that she's a public domain, or that we're being ripped off by the corporation somehow. I don't know. Either way, I thought that this one was the most interesting out of all of them, so I kind of ran with it.
I also added some more uniform stuff like these flowers onto the page, because I feel like this track is gonna be very polished metal.
Get this out of here! Why is there so much scrap paper? I've been collecting scrap paper like I'm a fucking crow looking for lost jewelry in Costco. What? That makes sense.
I also added one of these diamond thingamabob situations just to enhance a little bit more of the glamorous, polished vibe.
Caution, keep out, stop it. I was thinking, you know, because there's only like a couple articles on I keep forgetting what the fucking name of the album is. Empty Hands, right? Yeah. There's only a couple articles on Empty Hands and they're all about the same thing. It's just like, oh, industrial, but there's also return of Poppy.computer voice. So I kind of ran with it, and I was thinking, or well, I was more discussing. Maybe this is where it gets introduced, and maybe somewhere else will have a feature of it.
You know, I was honestly already surprised when Poppy came back with the old Poppy persona, because I didn't really think she wanted to, nor did I think she was allowed to. So I don't think, especially because this isn't like a Poppy the Computer focused project, I think, that will get a very Poppy the Computer-esque sound, but we may get a slower part in the song with a feature of the old voice. I don't think I explained my possible themes well earlier, so let me just elaborate on them. I feel like either it could be about Poppy and how she's seen as a public domain because she's famous, or it's about like the world and how it's being controlled by companies and the elite and how the world is getting stranger, and kind of elements of dystopian novels are coming true. So I hope that it's the first one, but I predict it's the second one, and the collage is based on the first one, which is kind of ironic for a Poppy prediction video, but that's beside the point, okay? Alright?
Let's cut her off. But my hands are shaky, so I shouldn't do this. Yeah, I almost cut my fucking ring finger.
Then I started decorating this glittery part right there.
Why the fuck did I end up with the whitest piece? Where the fuck is my microphone? Where? Where did it go? What? You've got to be kidding me. What is it? No. Huh? Oh! There it is. Oh, whoa, a fucking flippin' microphone.
Also, if you're wondering why there sometimes aren't background noises when I'm collage making, it's because I'm doing this. Isn't that great? Yeah.
I'm taking this from an Instagram post that she posted. It's heavily confusing. Why are there cute little flowers? Isn't this supposed to be some goofy ass metal album? Where are my industrial buildings? Can you see that guy has a face? Are you kidding me? Things aren't supposed to have faces. What?
I was also very shaky on this day. I have a problem. So cutting these things was hard. This may seem like I'm not shaking a lot, but I was in danger of cutting my fingers all the time. Maybe it's because I had a half a liter of coffee straight when I woke up. I slept in the same bed as a canister of coffee. Why the fuck did that sound sultry? What?
I'm putting it here, I think. Because then it's more balanced. We bring some of the... Why does it look like I'm giving birth with my arms? What is this? Because it brings the blue from down here up there. I think that is what makes it nice. So let's do that. Let's pop open my glue. I almost ripped my thumb off. Fun story about that, actually. I almost had no thumbs, but then they gave them back to me.
So I put on the title in a non-chaotic fashion, and I also decided I wanted to do a little bit of painting with my very shaky hands.
Go in with this guy? Hold on, wait. Let's see what this even smells like. No? Works like. Oh, okay. That's a good color, though. That's a good color.
So I painted a spiral because the only known lyric that I have seen on the official Poppy account is "All that's real is getting way too bizarre." And you know what's the strangest shape? A spiral.
I've had this Posca pen set for 6 years. I've never opened the smaller yellow one. I have not had a use for it until now, but let's fucking go. Let's do some little sparkles, like, around the poppy.
So its first purpose was drawing cute little sparkles, and with that we have finished the first collage. Alright, and we're starting off with this purple piece of paper for dying to forget. This is gonna be like a split page, so I'm first gonna do one half, which is the left side, is gonna be all purple, and after I rant while I'm doing my collage, I'll explain a bit what my big theory is behind this.
Okay, we got one half of the page flippin' dippin' decorated. Wouldn't you know it? Let's start gluing and spewing and skewering and pewing and pooping and dancing and prancing. Ah, that's like Rudolph. You know, I keep on getting very sexy Rudolphs or reindeers, not Rudolph specific this issue. I would call it a non-issue actually. Why am I debating with myself? You know, I realize that it must be quite annoying to watch this because I'm very naturally wanting to do things and I can't listen to music right now because I forgot my Bluetooth earbuds at the subway station because I killed a guy there and I threw him down the train tracks along with my Bluetooth earbuds. So now I'm musicless and I would have to connect wires to somewhere. Uh-oh, why is it not going down? Please. There was a guy who tried to convince me to eat glue. He didn't really convey his point very well. I think if he tried hard enough, he could have convinced me. I wouldn't say I'm convincible. I would just say, if I think something's funny, I'm very likely to do it. Because I ate salt in the science lab one time.
Alright, that whole ordeal aside, what the fuck? I predict that this song once again is gonna be like a more macro theme where it'll be like people, the public, are not wanting to think about certain issues because it causes cognitive dissonance. Like if we think about the bad stuff, then we feel bad, so we just not think about it, we're dying to forget about it. Or it's once again like elitist people, corporations, all that blah de blah de blah. I love capitalism, but what I hope the theme will be, which is not likely, especially considering recent new lyrics, is that it'll be more about exploring themes of like, if you try to forget all the bad shit, then are you still the same fucking person? So the collage is about that because I found it the most interesting.
So I'm like making like the bad stuff. What's the cost of giving up? Giving up is bad. Unless you're maybe like giving up. I was gonna say alcohol, but I wouldn't agree. I had wine yesterday. And saw lots of people.
So that is also why I made the left side like more abrasive, more dark, and purple, which apparently purple is a bad color. I don't know. It's not a color specific thing. God, that just sounds like racism. Stop it. And then the the right side is like all flowy and like colored and blue.
You know, if you weren't like sad at some point, how could you turn into an overly saturated blue plant? If you didn't consider giving up, how can you make awesome performances? Because you don't want to give it up anymore.
But just as a bit of a safety net, in case this is very probably, most likely, definitely the more macro issue, we can also just say that the left side is like, that is what the corporate entities are, the right side is like beautiful, creative humanity. You know, something like that. I could get away with that, right? I feel like that's applicable. You know, you've got corporations wanting to give up creativity on one side, death and dying, and no more plants, and on the other side is like performance, plants. I think it pretty much ends there. I don't think I had a third one.
I feel like we can maybe like mimic the bottom here, just as like we mimicked the the top thing over here, and we can make it like woo, you know, woo. That's a nice dance move. So, but we make it swirly, you know. We make it swirly every day. That, I don't know, I was gonna say that should be my motto, but I really, really don't want that to be my motto. Oh no, please don't turn into boobs. Please. Oh, that's gonna be boobs. These are just boobs. You've got to be kidding me. I did not want boob collage. No more boobs. No more boobs. Come on. How do I unboob these? Okay, that's the best we're gonna get. We're gonna cover it up with the flour. What kind of noise was that?
Then I put down the two last pieces of paper and then I started decorating, which I was mildly upset about, apparently.
God damn it. I have 2 purple washi tapes. I don't, is it, whoa, Miffy? Ninja? But Miffy is fucking bullshit. This is just Ninja. The rest is an illusion. And we've got little monkeys. I don't know about fitting either one of those in here.
Sadly, I wasn't as convinced at the time that I ate that fucking salt, so I didn't put any of the monkeys or the Miffies or the whatevers.
Can we go into sticker land? I have purple stickers. I have these like, oh yes, sadness. Unless I want to place something there later, but that's for later me to find out. Do any of these give off bad purple vibes? Okay, this one would be great if it wasn't green. It's a fucking green issue around these parts. Get out. Oh, purple! This is a purple one.
I know, it isn't dead, so it doesn't fit the theme, but it's purple, okay? I then started sorting through all of these and laughing hysterically at this flower. I don't know what that was about.
How can they get away with this? Why are there not any ingredients on the glue? How do they do that? I guess it's not consumable. What if I was allergic? I'm allergic to glue adjacent things, like shaving cream.
Now I'm just pretty much putting down the last bits of decorations, and I also tried to make this diamond sadness thing, whatever I called it earlier, sparkle. I just made it look like a cat, so I added more sparkles. I also put down the title, did a little bit of drawing, and then had another crazy rambling moment. I don't know what this is about.
Genius moment number 1. No, 84. 86? 87? 58. Good. 71.
And with that, we have finished Dying to Forget. And now I'm making the collage for Time Will Tell. I was also recording this at a very late time, so if the energy is off, you know why.
I want to take off my watch before I glue it to my arm. That reminds me of the time my orthodontist almost glued my tongue to my mouth. No, sorry. My tongue to my tooth.
For this collage, I mainly went with some lighter, more airy colors just to give like the illusion of going very fast and also give it like a bit of a cutesy, I don't know, something like that element.
Okay, let's start off with cutting the car out because all of this tree stuff is unnecessary. I just want the Mazda Miata MX-5 out of 1995.
I also used light colors because Poppy said that this track made her want to drive fast in her car, and Flux has a lot of car references type things and also uses a lot of light colors, so I wanted to use that here to refer back to it.
I know deep within my heart and soul this is probably gonna be an unraveled metalcore type song, but I'm just deeply yearning for alternative Poppy, and also for every single song or for every single collage to be, this is gonna be a metal song. It's gonna be very boring very quickly. So I just kind of over exaggerated my opinions just a little bit. This is a bit of what I hope and what I'll predict, except that I may not like the next album.
I also added these fuck ass boots because of the theme with like going fast, the car, high speed. I instantly think of Lessen the Damage and I associate that with these big like platform boots. This was actually from a Poppy, I think Koi footwear collaboration.
But I feel like this is very fitting. You know, like you're speeding past, of course, feathers flying everywhere. So I feel like we need that.
In the only known lyric from this song, Poppy also mentioned something about change and becoming elastic, so that reminded me even more of Flux, so I added this like weird black and white pattern tape because it looks like Flux, and I also added this clock because, you know, obviously time will tell, there's a time piece over there. And now for another example of Avire displaying odd behavioral patterns when she's recording at an odd hour.
It's probably past 11 now. What time is it? Oh, it's 2. It's 10 to 2. Okay. Oh, God, I almost wanted to drink my glue. Are you kidding me? Does this look drinkable, Avire? Yeah. I almost just did it again. Are you kidding me? I paused because I was afraid if I moved that I would actually start just fucking slurping it up.
Then I put down some of the last like little stickers, little pieces of tape and stuff like that.
I kind of want to make the clock melting because it's like time will tell, but if you keep on waiting, will it really? Is the answer just gonna present itself like whoopity-ca? No.
After that beautiful, grand, well-worded explanation of mine, let me actually go into the theme of this song a little bit. I think that this song is gonna be about change and how people are forced to adapt to the world changing around them, and that can be either positive or negative. I don't know about that part yet. Meanwhile, I also feel like the title signifies that we're waiting for something, you know, time will tell, we're not doing anything. However, then it would be too thematically similar to the next song, which is literally called The Wait. So I didn't go for that in this one.
I have found the solution to all my issues. Blue sparkly tape. You've got to be kidding me. You've got to be saying, haha, what a little joke. My scissors. God damn it. How did this happen again? Oh. Alright. Don't laugh. I'm walking away. I came back because I remember my blueberries are over here. I feel like I'm cutting off an umbilical cord.
I also very awkwardly cut off this blue piece of tape. I don't know what I was doing. Maybe I wanted to show off my shoulder or what?
It's midnight. I don't care. It's star time. I'm gonna make some stars. Do I remember how to make a star? No, I haven't done this in years. Oh my goodness. What a gracious beauty. Let's make some more. I'm excited now. Sorry. Big remembering came over me. There is a little clock over here. Now, does this necessarily fit with the theme? No. But I'm putting it there because it's a fucking clock. This is probably the only opportunity that I'll have within the next 6 weeks to use a clock themed sticker where it'll also be appropriate. So, let's put this clock down. Maybe. Time will tell, bitches. Time will really tell. It'll also tell when Avire will go insane, if it's in the next 6 weeks. Or tomorrow. That's also within 6 weeks. I don't know anymore. No. That's enough. That's fucking enough. feel like I'm going crazy. This is definitely way too many stars, right? I'm trying to convince myself that it's not. My original plan was not to put stars on here. You know what? I'm kind of vibing with it. I'm gonna put one more.
Then finally, I'm gonna put on the title.
I wonder what the people are thinking. I'm sitting right in front of a giant window. It's completely dark outside, and I'm stood here with a tripod, standing on a chair, with the messiest desk they've probably ever seen, cutting tiny pieces of paper. At least I discarded my silly hat that I was wearing earlier, but I am eating blueberries. Isn't that a supremely goofy activity?
And then I finished Time Will Tell, and with that we can finally move on to an Avire that isn't recording at midnight.
You know, with this track, from the instant that the fucking album got teased, I already knew what kind of song this would be. This is gonna be The Center is Falling Out of Empty Hands. I was gonna say Open Hands, and at first I was gonna say Bruised Sky, and for this we're only gonna do angular stuff, but not like in the cutesy way I kind of did over here, which is like abrasive lines, weird ass cuts. There's not gonna be any sparklies or any cutesy things over here. This is serious, angry shit, alright?
Color-wise, I mostly went for dark red and purple to kind of tie in the album colors, but also integrate a bit of the Center's Falling Out vibe with the red, and also, you know, anger. Red is anger. We know that. That's the one emoji for what emotion from that one movie.
I feel like the problem with collages, though, and especially with the types of paper that I have, is that collages are kind of inherently cute, while this is meant to be the opposite, you know, fucking eat the hate and drink their blood. That isn't very cutesy, if you ask me. I feel like even to this collage, there is a cutesy element in here that I don't want to be there, but I can't really get it out. So we're just gonna do it like this, alright?
And while you just saw the collage coming together very quickly, I almost immediately changed my mind.
So we have this like little industrial thing, because I'm expecting there will be like goofy ass breakdown like in either Suffocate or Genital Knock Loose songs, or like The Center's Falling Out. However, I'm not too sure on where to put it, because all the elements on this page are quite bulky and in the way. I think over here might just be best, and it is kind of an organic shape, but you know, fuck the world and I'll just fuck you back. Fuck your back? It really sounded like that. Oh my god.
Because I wanted to have this page be so dark, I also covered up most of it with paper, and in hindsight, I feel like I should have just painted the background black to make it match with the other pages more, which show background more. That sounds very weird. Don't show your background to me. But I didn't do that. That's only a hindsight thing.
Okay, and then now I think I'm gonna go in with my Posca pens and draw some blood, because you know the only lyric that we have for this is eat the hate and drink their blood, so of course I'm gonna fucking draw blood. Okay, this blood is kind of very red and not very menacing, but you know what, that's fucking cool. We can work with that.
I started off with mostly pulling the blood around this poor business guy, because I feel like it's mostly gonna be thematically similar to Blood Money or They're All Around Us. That went really wrong. I'll probably put this in anyways, I'm not sure why.
For now, I'm just gonna add a couple more stickers. I think. Maybe this is a menacing plan, right? It's red. I feel like I can work with that and then just have some blood dripping out of it. Oh my god. I fear I shook it too hard. The paint is escaping. Uh-oh. Okay. Oh god.
I also drew a mouth because I thought it would be thematically relevant, again with the lyric being eat the hate and drink their blood. Blood, hate, eat, drink. Mainly the eat part is relevant here, and the blood part, and the drink part.
Ooh, now this page is looking kind of sultry. God damn. That was not my intention. My intention was for it to be completely and utterly serious, because we're drinking people's blood. That's a fucking serious activity if I've ever heard of one. There, cool.
And now it's finally title time. Southern title time. I don't think I've mentioned this before. This is definitely a metal track. I don't know how I haven't mentioned this yet.
I'm also hoping for this song that kind of like in Say Cheese, that there'll be like some weird ass goofy switch, or at least some like kind of quirk to it, but like in a new way, which I can't say enough about that to know which way I want it. Either, because all I can think of is like some goofy ass switch, or just like a weird ass breakdown or some weird instrument in there. But okay, alright, I think that is Eat the Hate done. I think I'm gonna clean up my desk briefly. I'll take a picture. You can see what it looks like. But you won't see any of that, but let's move on to the weight. This is the one we've all been waiting for. The weight. Okay, so my idea, or like the impression I got for the weight at least, was a bit anxious and just waiting for something fucking horrible to happen. Kind of like that kind of vibe. Which, when I say vibe, it sounds like I'm describing some kind of like ethereal, cool thing that's going on, but that's not my intention. This is gonna be fucking horrible, and I'm looking forward to it.
Then a beautiful coincidence happened, which sounds like some type of religious thing, but really it wasn't. It's a piece of paper.
It kind of looks like a factory. Hold up, that goes hard as fuck. This is definitely good. This is definitely good. I don't know what I'm on, but it's definitely good. Definitely good drugs.
I promise I wasn't on anything. I was way too focused here to be on anything bad. With that great focus though, I kept on enhancing the factory industrial scene, adding the saddest looking sky. You also might notice that some of the people look weird. No, this image isn't AI generated. I'm just very bad at cutting. Like I said, I have shaky hands. I had shaky hands on this day. And then another non-religious miracle happened.
We could use... Hold on, give me a second while I get all this fucking shit out of my way. We could cut this part out a little bit, and we could use it as the smoke.
Genre-wise, I'm also getting a very intense metalcore feeling from this track. Something about the title, The Weight, just feels very metalcore.
Oh my god, that is so good. You've got to be fucking kidding. You've got to be kidding. I'm a genius. I only figured this out just now, and I was a doctor before.
Oh no, his arm!
I was very qualified.
If you have a very trained on poppy material eye, you would also notice concrete was there. This is because in the one lyric we have, once again, I'm estimating a whole ass tree based off of a fucking dead stick or something, she mentions sirens. So I thought we may have a reference to concrete either through sirens or the poppy chant. You know, kind of like the poppy in New Way Out.
Look, it looks like there's a fucking sniper there. Can you see that? What is he gonna do to that man? What did this man do? Did he kill? I think he did. I think my cat has fucking intel on this guy. Mushu, what the fuck did you do with him? She's pretending to get all cozy now and licking her tail. I'm cutting off the sniper. I'm saving this man, despite all his wrongdoings.
This is also one of the only songs so far, I believe, where I actually went with the larger scale macro theme, which is of course about the public not taking any action against the people who are misusing their power, and instead are just waiting. I mostly went with this one because I couldn't think of another one, and also just genuinely thought that this macro theme was interesting.
I want to like kind of make some pipes or something coming out of there, because that's what, oh god, that's what like factory type people do, or factory type factories. They do that, just so everyone knows. I want to make some poles, which, you know, this is a very hard tutorial. That was so complicated. I don't know how I managed, oh god, to do that.
Wow, that was actually breathtaking. I can't believe I did that without like passing out or something, cutting those tiny pieces of paper. But that aside, what I have genuinely noticed while editing this video is that I have a very peculiar way of moving my hands. It has already long been established that I hold pens in an odd fashion, but I did not know I exuded a permanent energy of my fingers being 2 centimeters too long.
Now, what I also want to do, I want to add some like quivering lines, because that looks fearful, right? I'm trying to like invoke an anxious feeling. Okay, I'm gonna go with the black. This is fucking terrifying. Real question is, does this work? No, but maybe that makes it look more smoky, so maybe it's good.
I also may or may not have added some stuff to Eat the Hate before it was title time. Yay! So exciting! Now that we're near the end though, I can say that I think that this song will kind of fade out into the next song because I predicted they're going to be very different stylistically, even though I did not put that transition into the collage, but now you know.
I'm also standing on my chair again. This time it's broad daylight. Luckily, I can't see anyone outside right now.
And on that note, the wait is over.
Let's go. This is the one I'm the most excited for. We're gonna kind of recreate what we have for the wait, or what I have. You don't have this. This is my property. But then we're gonna make it happy and like a landscape, kind of like Flux. I mean, this definitely needs to be the sky. I mean, it's the fucking clouds. Are you kidding me? I'm wielding the scissors. I've got a grand plan.
Oh, what? Why? How did I sound like that? I swear I can only improvise these things. I truly do believe I would at least be an alright voice actor if I could do my seagull noises on command. Alright, focus. I started making this mostly pink and pastel landscape with some bits of the Flux music video in it because I think this is going to be more of a ballad or an alternative rock song which talks about some form of love.
There. Yeah, okay, that's a good start. We have a good start. We've got the ground laid down, literally. I think I want to cut out this cloud and then we can do a mix of these two clouds and drawn clouds.
I think if it is a rock song, it'll have a kind of slow build-up,
Okay.
and if it's a ballad, that it'll have some kind of polished metal kind of sound. I don't think that in either case it'll have screaming though, and if it does, it'll only be at the end, but I think that'll have some dreamy, love-like sound to it either way.
This is another one of those ones that I deeply want it to be something close to Hysteria or Never Find My Place. Because those are two of my, or at least like my favorite songs on Flux, and Flux is like one of my favorite Poppy albums, along with I Disagree and Negative Spaces probably. So I have a deep desire for it to be like that, but I really think it's going to be like Halo. And don't get me wrong, I love Halo. I'm just craving something more experimental from Poppy, and Halo isn't the most experimental song. I would find it interesting if she did kind of like a theme, like some of the same themes as on Halo, but not just Halo again. From what I've seen of it, it's definitely seeming like it, and also based on the other songs.
So in order to compensate for the lack of Halo and the abundance of Flux, I transformed the Negative Spaces cover art into some clouds to kind of represent the theme of Halo coming back and possibly also the sound.
Teeny tiny cloud. That's my little reference to Halo, or at least general Negative Spaces. Do your guys' scissors also do this, or is this something I should check out with my doctor? Anyways, let me know about that. That might be enough clouds, and the rest I'll paint. Yeah, okay, right, let's do that.
As you might have noticed, this collage is drastically different from all the other collages. I feel like it's mainly because I didn't really put anything on the top, so a lot of paper is still left exposed, and I'm also doing a lot more painting, as you can see with the clouds, and I also painted some fireflies in a second, you know, as a source of light, you know, the sun, fireflies, stuff like that. But that kind of led me to be unsure about this page for a while, which I'll show you right now.
Alright, that's kind of cute. Maybe. I'm undecided about this page. Let's do stickers. Stickers save everything.
Rest assured, those stickers did not fix anything. In fact, I think I ripped them off the page like 3 separate times. I tortured the page. Don't worry, he ended up being fine, mostly. However, I do feel like leaving more of the page blank and painting more left it with a kind of childlike element, a bit like a child's drawing, which I did end up appreciating in the end because it highlighted maybe a potential naive theme that also might be in the song, which I'll also explain in a second in collage time.
I also feel like, you know, this could either be a love song or it's being blinded by the light. I feel like that can also very well be a possibility, because after this we turn to blink, because, you know, when you look into the light you blink, and then it turns to ribs, which is once again a bad thing. So maybe it'll turn that way, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
After all that bullshit seriousness, I returned right back to my antics and collage time.
Look, you want to hear how squeaky this chair is? Okay, now of course not doing it. Wait, look, listen to this. That is the fucking backrest for this chair.
Mind you, this is also the chair that I have been standing on for like about 25% of this time. This chair is older than me. That's no good sign for a fucking chair. And just to continue the theme of unseriousness, this is also the sticker time. One of these stickers is also supposed to represent crystallized, because we may get a return of that 80s pop-esque sound. But then I proceeded to rip them off like 3 separate times until I eventually found out that they actually look alright.
They just really don't fit in. Hold on, I'm gonna view this from another angle. Oh no, they look fucking great. It's just that light is so harsh, it somehow makes them look dark. But now I feel like they should be on the clouds again. But this is a long ass title, which again makes me more convinced that it's a Flux, it's a Flux-esque song, because Flux has the longest titles in any of the Poppy universe songs. Oh, you want to know a funny story about lights, actually? When I was a kid, I had a recurring dream where if I looked straight into a lamp, I would get superpowers. So I would just stare at my lamp, which was consistent of only balls of purple, green, and pink coloring. And so I would do that for like 5 minutes, I think the first time. And I was like, where the fuck are my superpowers? And I didn't get them, and I was so fucking mad. So then I did it for even longer. And then, you know, the first time there was already a bunch of markings in my vision. Didn't get better when I did it for 10 minutes. And then I had that dream again, like maybe like 6 months later. And I was like, oh yeah, my superpower. So I had to test it out again. I was a scientist at a young age, man. Oh god. I've lost the light of my life. I just have If We're Following. Which, this sounds like it's a cult song. Maybe that could be it also, which, that could be fun. Cult songs are fun. If We're Following. If We're Following, I might as well get a 401k. Ah, there it is.
Then I put on the title, and with that, If We're Following the Light is finished.
Now, let's move on to blank.
Now it's time for Blink. This is the only interlude that we have, and also my microphone sounds better now because I was finally able to switch over to the good one. But I'm just gonna breeze through this one quickly because it's an interlude. For this, I mainly went with black and white colors because I think it's mostly gonna be a combination of the negative spaces interlude with maybe the Am I a Girl interlude, because I think that we're gonna get the computer voice back here. Because, you know, I can't really pinpoint where it's gonna be, so it feels most logical for it to be here, but it could also be anywhere else in the album, but I'm not sure. So I put down a screenshot from the Time's Up music video, also because, you know, it said the wait is over, we have the fucking wait, you know, that's awesome. And then I also put down the music video for Hey There, because I feel like it may have a minimal dreamy sound like on Negative Spaces, plus the computer voice.
So that is Blink. Now, it's time for the second to last one. I've already done some preparing for this. I was painting a lot, and I also have a grander plan for this one. And then we have the rib, the doy, like that. It should go like this. So I need to cut Ow! Oh god, my bones just cracked in my fucking jaw. It's been doing that for like 1 or 2 years. Should vote down below. Should a virus see the dentist?
Hi, so it has been a couple of days in voiceover time, which I feel like is important to mention because I'm recording this 10 hours and 4 minutes before the release of the new album, and there have been a lot of leaks, which I feel like I should mention I have not looked at all, just because I personally don't like to do that, and also for my prediction voiceover thingies, I can't fully sit here and be like, oh yeah, I predict this, but I've seen the whole entire fucking thing. And I also feel like it was important to mention that it's been a couple days because I had a minor mouth surgery in between blink and rib, so if I sound strange, like how I'm pronouncing my S's right now, then you know why.
This like, you know, order of events is kind of confusing to me, because it's like we're following the light, then we blink, and then we get something that is less positive, because if we're following the light, sounds so cutesy and happy, and then we get ribs which sound bad, and the lyrics sound bad. So I'm not sure what how the progression there is gonna go, but I'm curious. I feel like maybe it's like we followed the light and we followed it somehow into darkness, or it's gonna be something like we were blinded by the light that we were following, something along those lines. Well, I found these really cute ones. I do think I got them illegally from some kind of website, but they look pretty darn good, and I feel like they really fit what I'm trying to do here, so I did end up using them. Or well, look at what I'm doing for you. I could be watching motherfucking My Little Pony right now. Meanwhile, I gotta cut out little tiny cute blue flowers. Flower number 1, flower number 2, flower number 3, bloem nummer 4, bloem nummer 5, bloem nummer 6.
I think that this one probably ended up being my favorite collage, which feels ironic to say because I prepared for this one the least. I had more shit written down for Blink than for Ribs, but from what I did write down, I felt like that this song would have like some themes of nothingness and abyss, stripping something down to its bare bones and twisting the past. I also think genre-wise, this will definitely be like maybe a bit of a metalcore song / maybe we'll go fully metal screaming at some parts, but I think that it's gonna have a slow build. You know, we're in the abyss now, but maybe near the end, like as a humanity, as people or something, we're reaching out, and that is what that big fucking hand with all the cute little flowers and stuff like that, and stars that I'm putting on now represents. And so maybe for that part within the song, we'll have maybe like a bit of a don't go outside riff breakdown moment, which would just be my fucking dream. Probably not reality, but it would be my dream. And then that'll somehow transition into Empty Hands.
Now, let's be very measured about this, Sapphire. No reason to be funny right now. Okay. Oh, get back in your bag. Why the fuck are you coming out of the bottom? That sounds like an awful innuendo, but you know what I mean. Ambulances keep on coming fucking by. Like, that's maybe the third one I've heard in the time that it's taken to make this collage. Why? I'm just making a fucking collage. The people in my attic, they're calm as fuck. There's nothing wrong with them right now. Maybe it should have come 14 hours ago. Should have come 14 hours ago. One of them went in a septic shock.
But that hand reaching out of the abyss doesn't represent like humanity being saved. I think that this is more like humanity being in the abyss and having the intention to reach out, and Empty Hands is the saving hero fucking Marvel agent whatever part.
You know what? Let's just figure out where I'm gonna put the title. Then at least I'll have something else figured out, okay? Because I feel like this looks good as fuck. So I don't want to mess it up, but I definitely feel like there needs to be something more going on here. I'm just not sure what, because I want this to be so flowery and cute that I feel like I can't add anything else here, because most of the decorations that I have are flowers. Ooh, just an idea struck just now that my back is itching. But also, this guy, and then we could like cut out like a part like that, and then around this like lighter part we can draw some stars.
Okay, 2 quick and unrelated notes. I also kind of left this black part more undecorated just to kind of look a bit more abyssal. And I also, second note, I feel like this song might have a slow build, but I am not completely sure yet.
I dare put the title on already, Am I gonna go that crazy? The answer is definitely yeah. I may regret this in not all too long, but that's something for me to find out in not all too long. Where did it go? Oh. Oops. Let's paint a couple stars.
There's also a piece of merch on Poppy's website, which is called Hollow Touch, and I feel like it could be applicable here because it's, hollow, ribs are hollow, and in this case, it also fits with my hand theme, like we're reaching out to something new from a hollow place.
I think that might just be ribs. Except that I want to glue his shoulder down. Man, you got some weird ass fucking shoulder. Some weird ass? You got a weird ass shoulder. You got one weird ass shoulder, not some of them. Okay, and that is ribs. It's time for the final page. Oh yeah, by the way, for those wondering, Avire, what the fuck happened to your hand between the previous collage and this collage? Who did you encounter this time on the mean streets of Amsterdam? Well, a bottle of yellow acrylic paint. I swear to God, this thing has been attacking me for years. This guy. This is him. I have no clue how I injured myself once again with the yellow paint bottle, but this happens every time I open this one. Okay, so this is meant to be like a kind of progression, down or up to down, dark to light.
This is also the collage I did the most painting for because I painted this whole ombre on a separate piece of paper to glue into my bullet journal just so I can show the progression a little bit better.
I'm severely disadvantaged now because I woke up in shock today, so I'm already not at my optimal, and then I drank half a liter of coffee and I injured myself. So if this collage, the final collage, doesn't turn out great, we know who to blame. It's the yellow paint bottle. Oh, I should use that in my trial. That's good, that's good. Or in his trial, not mine. I did nothing wrong, except want to open him up.
Huh? What? No, don't talk about that. It'll get mentioned in the yellow acrylic paint bottle trial. I can't take myself seriously. I was being so silly during this recording. I was being serious here. It's only because I muted all the clips because I was talking bullshit the whole entire time actually. But I was, however, using these pictures to kind of reiterate this ombre, and I placed the pictures according to the ombre, so it looked kind of pretty. And then I looked outside and I just kept on being distracted.
Oh God, there's lots of orange people outside. They're just walking. Why are they all orange? There's also a tiny dog. Oh my God, he's running towards the orange people. They're congregating. I think they're trash picker-uppers, but I can't fully take them seriously. They're interesting. So accidentally, I didn't do this on purpose. I really, for this collage, went with the colors of the album, which is like white and light purple and dark blue, and the music videos, they're all almost like dark blue and just black, even though that isn't really in any of the promotional material or the cover art. But I feel like this is kind of like the essence. You got the cutesy and you got all the bad shit, so it kind of works.
This is also actually one of the tracks that Poppy commented on, and she said that is for those who know that violence is coming. Now, what does Avire associate with violence? Not the yellow acrylic paint bottle, oddly enough, but violence against nature. And while I do feel like there will be a lot of thematic overlap between this album and violence against nature, I don't think that'll necessarily be the case on this track, but I do think that we may get that alternative nu metal sound here.
Looks like a fucking prison. Is it a prison? I can't tell. Maybe it is. Is this a prison? That's cool. I'm gonna put that in.
As you might have seen, I'm also putting down a whole bunch of buildings, basically just representing like the downfall of humanity in return for like happiness, good, no more bad. I'm also cutting out Poppy's fashionable shoulder wing here from the I Disagree music video, just because it oddly looked very much like a flame, and also we may get a little bit of that sound in here. It's just because I want that to be reality.
I feel like this song will maybe like start off heavy and Like it's like kind of a battle, you know, something like that. But then it'll eventually calm down and have a calm, fuck, beautiful ending where it's like, you know, maybe we have nothing now. However, we have like a opportunity for new beginnings. Like in emptiness, you can have a lot of room for growth. I don't fully understand what's going on with these buildings though, because it really looks like they're upside down. Wait, I'm holding it upside down. Oh. That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, that was collage being very concerned that I accidentally picked out an AI picture because I was very, very conscious about using one pictures that I can actually use and not get sued somehow or one way or another, and also pictures that weren't AI. So I was like, fuck, these buildings are upside down while they're not supposed to, while they were supposed to, because I was holding the fucking thing upside down. Theme-wise for this song, I mostly got my inspiration from this Reddit post I saw around the time that Bruised Sky released, I think. Basically saying that normally Poppy's always like, yes, I know all the bad shit is coming, and I'm excited. I will still survive when the plants have fucking died. But this time around, she's being like, oh, I know bad stuff is coming, but I'm gonna help humanity. So I think in this song, she'll either drag all the bad shit down to hell with her, or it'll be humanity thinking like, you know what, we're in hell anyways, we might as well drag all of the bad shit and people down with us.
I think this photo, it was of a lady who was pregnant and holding out her hands. So in this context, these hands look cool as fuck. In the context of what it actually was, it was a maternity photo shoot. This one and Ribs, the one I did for Ribs, oh god, this is dangerous, are kind of similar. But in this case, I want the hands to be mostly empty because, you know, it's fucking called Open Hands. Empty Hands. It's called... We probably should have named our album something like Piss in the Wind, like Joji, and that way I would remember it.
I also cut out a bunch more flowers just to dot them around the hands.
We're gonna glue these bitches down. Definitely love words, Elvira. Good job.
Now, some of you people might be like, oh no, but Elvira, didn't you just do another collage with hands and cutesy things surrounding it? Is this the downfall of Elvira instead? And my response to that will be, first of all, thank you for being so concerned about my artistic integrity. Second of all, I feel like Ribs is more so a description of the abyss and the intention to reach out, and then Empty Hands is like the actual battle against all the bad shit and like actually pushing through on that. And then it ends with Empty Hands, of course, with a whole bunch of cute stuff surrounding it, representing opportunities that the Empty Hands can now reach out for.
Yeah, that is looking good. Okay, alright. Then I just need something up top. If I want stars, I want them to be in black over there. But this is black. I do have some holographic dark blue glitters, I think. Wait, hold on. If I still have them, because I was very obsessed with doing very intricate nail art with those when I was 11. So, I'm not sure if I still have them. Okay, I found a bunch of things. These black ones might be the way to go. And I also got these dark blue ones. I think honestly, I'm feeling the black the most, because that way it'll have like a little pop of like fanciness and color while still maintaining a pretty dark theme.
I feel like so far my explanation of this song has been especially fragmented mostly because I was so distracted while actually making this collage. So I think I want to elaborate a little bit more on my ideas, especially because this is the ending and title track. So I think that it's gonna start off with a really heavy alternative metal sound, you know, like fucking jing 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 type of sounds. That sounds racist somehow, but you know what I mean. That's also why I put down Poppy from Bruised Sky, because she was also facing some kind of battle here, so I think there will be like a return of that here, but like grander. And in the beginning of the track, we're still in a dark place, I would say. We're still kind of in the abyss. We haven't left that since Ribs. However, during the song, it'll progress in a way where eventually it'll escape. So I think we'll have a very intense part in here somewhere. But then Of course, we're out of the abyss. We're away from all of the bad stuff in one way or another, whether that has been because we have dragged all the bad shit down with us, Poppy has saved us somehow, some other miraculous way. And then I think we're gonna end on a more peaceful note. That's also why the bottom of the page is a lot more cheery than the top side. And I think this will have that little bit of Poppy.computer-esque cutesiness with it, tied in with some of the Flux sound, just to have like a beautiful fade out into the ending of the album. And then maybe that part, it could be all instrumental, but if there is singing in there, I think it'll be something along the lines of, we have nothing now, but at least we have a brand new start, a bunch more opportunities. In the end, this is a good thing.
Empty hands like that. That's kind of funny, but then they aren't empty anymore, which is kind of ironic, so I think I'm just gonna place them over there. Plus, like, there's so much scattering around here already, yet over there it ends, so it would be good. I'm flailing around like a glue stick. Ugh. It sounds like fucking cum stick. It sounds weird. It sounds very weird. Glue stick, I don't like the sound of that anymore now. No. There we go. Okay, now let's glue the page onto here. Do I want to put a secret message? Yeah, I kind of do. Secret message has been written, which is top secret for if the historians ever find this one. By the way, so far I've been gluing in a very unorthodox, chaotic fashion. This is how you glue shit, okay? Cross in the middle. It's the best way. It's perfecto. Which I think I saw a post a couple years ago saying that was the chaotic neutral of gluing paper, which I did a test multiple times on what my alignment would be in D&D. I got chaotic neutral every single time. I think it ends there. We got the empty hands page, the final one. I'm very curious what Poppy is gonna do with this empty hands track, because this is the first time we've had a concluding song, that is also the title track. So I'm curious. This is her 7th album. She's never done this before. But yeah, that's it. Bye bye. That's me waving. This is me waving. This is a very awkward angle. Feels like I'm juggling a bunch of balls right now. Okay, bye. That feels more natural.